Hi folks, I'm Judd. I'm a professional astrologer with over 35 years consultative experience to my name. These are my astrological forecasts for the year 2015 for each sign of the zodiac. Enjoy. And this is the astrological forecast for the sign of Virgo for the whole of the year of 2015. Folks, you have no idea what's coming. It's going to get faster and faster as the year progresses. Although the first few months, the first 4 or 5 months of the year are relatively calm. But the big picture suggests that as Jupiter moves into your sign from say August onwards, and really the whole year as Saturn begins to pay you quite a lot of attention, and of course with Neptune's ongoing presence in your opposite sign, I think that Jupiter moving into your sign in August is going to in many ways act as a kind of an upgrade trigger, and from that time onwards the pace of life is going to expand, not just sort of one step at a time, but exponentially for a few weeks. It's quite likely, incidentally, that September is going to be a particularly manic month, and indeed I think September 2015 could be one of the more interesting months of recent years. A number of you have been complaining over recent years that there's not a lot happening to Virgo. Tell me that come the end of September. The big picture planets, it's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. Pluto's certainly smiling on a number of you quite well. Pluto's bringing quite a degree of healthy, latent depth, gravity, sincerity and insight into the lives of those of you born around September 3, 4, 5, 6. Very profound, psychologically deep time. No one's going to be able to spin you over this coming year. But Neptune is opposing the sun of a number of you. And here I am looking at those of you born at the very end of August and the very start of September. I'm looking at those of you born August 30, 31, September 1. Starting really around February, March of this year, you are likely to find that the periods of fatigue or weariness or just feeling absolutely empty or exhausted become more frequent. There's nothing wrong medically, probably, although do get a checkup. But if they just mumble something about stress, then just ignore them and go home and go to bed for 24 hours and go and have a bath, not a shower, a bath. Hot water always works. Fatigue is the key. It is not illness, disease, infection, probably. It is fatigue, weariness, feeling drained and tired. And it'll pass. It's not permanent. Might last a year. Might happen for about 6 or 7 times over the course of a year for as long as a day. And if you go home and just go to bed or go and have a bath, fine, you're fine the next day. And if you fight it, it will last a week. It's Neptune opposite your sun. And it's happening to those people born at the very end of August, very start of September, over the coming year. So learn to live with it. It's not permanent. You can't really fight it. At the same time, if you can direct your energy into far more subtle and aesthetic and refined pursuits, things like theatre or more refined music, art, dance in a more sophisticated way, then you're going to have great fun. But it's not going to be an energy-packed year. Uranus isn't touching you. Uranus isn't bringing any sign of disruption or chaos or drama. There's no sense of having the rug pulled from underneath your feet. There's no sense of disorder. The big picture talks to those people born from perhaps August 29th through to September 6th. With those born at the end of that period doing very well, but those born at the start of that period undergoing quite a degree of uncertainty over the coming year. It's when you bring Saturn into the equation that things become a bit more evident. Saturn's going to have a mixed effect on Virgo over the coming 12 months. Those Virgos born at the very start of the sign, i.e. August 22, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, you're likely to find that the first part of this year is quite difficult. Not difficult in terms of the neurotic or psychological or disruptive or chaotic, but difficult in terms of pressure, gravity and hard bloody work. And it's time to just get your finger out and get stuck in and stop complaining and get on with it. Because if you do, if you just get stuck in, what you do is you put in place long-term roots and foundations which will then establish and consolidate your long-term future. So it's got to be worth the effort, but most people will just complain about how hard their life is for the first 6 months of the year and then wonder why things don't, why they're suddenly at the mercy of the waves. But if you work over the first 6 months of next year to consolidate your roots and foundations, then the sudden waves of change that are going to come in from mid-August onwards will actually be very favourable. This is being caused by Jupiter moving into Virgo around the second week of August. You'll all notice this. There's 3 groups of you. Those of you born after September 14th are unlikely to notice the effects of Jupiter so strongly in the coming year. Those of you born, however, at the start of Virgo, from say August 23 through to perhaps September 4 or 5, you're going to find that the period of mid-August through to mid-October, late October, an 8 or 9 week period is very helter-skelter. And it'll be a real test of your ability to be strong enough to be able to say, right, I'll stop here, I've had enough. Because there's going to be big opportunities for growth for you people at this time. This is those of you born before September the 5th, and we're talking mid-August to mid-October. Big opportunities, but be wise and astute enough to stop and quit while you're ahead, lest you overreach and end up with nothing. Those of you born from September 6th through to perhaps September 14, where you will find that the latter part of the year, if you're going to overreach yourself, that's when you'll do it. And proper growth comes when Jupiter really amplifies itself in Virgo, which will be the second quarter of 2016, and we'll deal with that one next year. For some of you, has to be said, primarily those born in August, this does continue to be a fairly difficult year with the attentions of both Saturn and Neptune. And there are a couple of full moons, particularly the full moon conjunct Jupiter at the end of August in early Virgo, that does say that things could get well over the top or larger than life at this time. Similarly again, the full moon on the 25th of November is also having a bit of an adverse effect upon you. So the full moons at the end of August and the end of November are times to be cautious. It's a bit of a topsy-turvy year. It gets better once you're into the last 4 months of the year and you can see where you stand. But as far as the whole year of 2015 goes, Virgo, get your surfboard out, wax your surfboard, oil your roller skates. It's going to be a bit of a helter-skelter year. There you go, folks. I hope that was helpful and informative. I believe astrology should be free. I think that if astrology was taught in schools, we'd see an end to warfare within 2 generations. And in that context, I want to put as much astrology free into the world as I can. But it does cost. Your donations, month in, month out, the £1, the £5, the £10 a month that you send me, really help me keep this going. Thank you. Keep them coming. And look what I've got. And there's a new one on Mercury coming out later this year. So if you want to get these or find out about all my gigs travelling around the world this coming year lecturing on astrology, email me, steve@stevejudd.com. See you next year. Bye.